Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gloucester County Board of Supervisors work session agenda of work session of Tuesday, April the 21st, 2026. Mr. Baines, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Dr. Orth here. Dr. Leming. Present. Mr. Hutson.
Here.
Mr. Chriscoe.
Here.
Mr. Nicosia.
Here.
Miss Hanson.
Here.
Mr. Bonniville.
Here.
All here, sir.
Thank you. All that are able, will you please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance by the Honorable Christopher A. Hutson, Gloucester Point District.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we gather here tonight. Let us remember the military and the first responders that take care of this country and the citizens of it. Please give wisdom and guidance to the leaders of the U.S., the state, and the county when we are all conducting the business for its citizens. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
We have no minutes for approval. I'll look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Next up, we have approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. We will now move to matters presented by the board. Next, we'll move to county administrator items. Mr. Baines.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple things to mention. I sent an email out to y'all today. Middlesex is doing an addendum to their comp plan, and because we're a locality adjacent to them, they send us those notices. You'll see that when you get back into your inbox. The Employee Service Recognition Week is the first week of May, and that week we'll have certain things that we'll do for the employees, including, it's a Thursday. I put down Wednesday, but Thursday is the day we do the cookout for them. So we'll be doing that. I'll be at the Middle Peninsula Planning District tomorrow evening representing Gloucester. The Gloucester Fire and Rescue Agreement's been signed. So with it, the IFB's on the street. Our pre-bid is on May 6th, and the bids are due by June 1st. So we're moving ahead with the Gloucester Fire Department, Station 1. Then the last thing is on Thursday night, when we have our next budget meeting, I have a previous engagement. I've got a grandson who's getting ready to go into a gifted middle school, so we're going up for the open house. So Miss Calloway is going to take y'all through the budget on Thursday night. She's agreed to do it for me, and I appreciate her for doing that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Dr. Leming.
Mr. Baines, on the employee appreciation, is that the first Thursday in May?
It'll be the 7th, sir. The
The
7th.
second or the 7th?
7th.
Thank you.
That week, we'll start on Monday and go through the week. We have both Employee Plus and our administration do certain things during the week for the employees.
My comment would be I'd really like to make sure that the board was opened up to that opportunity to serve our employees. If there's anyone on the board who is available and who is willing and able, I think it would make a good laugh. I mean, effort.
A good effort. Yes, everything's provided. The Employee Plus has everything. You just have to show up. They even have a new grill this year because last year I put a pretty big hurting on the one we had last year. So
They've had ice cream socials, Christmas dinners, and they always ask for participants during time periods. So yeah, it's a fun time. I participated, and it's really great to see the employees.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'd like to just kind of highlight one employee. I know that this is an enormous group effort, but Christine Joyce kind of put the bow on the packet between the fire department and the county getting those bids out, and I just think we ought to have a special recognition to say thank you. And again, it's a group effort, but she really has put the yeoman's work into pulling it all together and getting it out the door along with Ms. Calloway, and I just want to make sure that we recognize that effort. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Leming. Mr. Baines, you've concluded your comments?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, so we will now move to public comment period. If you come forward, please state your name, your magisterial district, and remember to speak to the topics on the work session agenda.
Nathan Brown, the Ware District. I see you're gonna talk about, raising the water and sewer rates again. We need to get some answers for y'all raise the water and sewer rates again. Because according to the budget, the last budget for 2025 and 26, had $9 million we're supposed to spend on capital. I don't see where it's going. I mean, here, and one of the things we're supposed to borrow money for is to fix the Gloucester water line. I ride down there every week, and I haven't seen anybody working on it. We borrowed $445,000 to fix it. I don't see anything working on it. Is it gonna get this done this year? Where is this money going? I mean, you keep saying we have to raise, borrow money, but I don't see a lot of this work getting done. We need to change, we just can't keep borrowing money and put it all into operating. That's not the way to work. So before y'all raise the rates, y'all need to get a handle on what you're doing and where the money's going. And have a plan. In addition, we need a plan because 25% of the water produced by the water treatment plant disappears. So, normally you would figure a good system would do 10 to 15%. If we could find that water, we could save thousands of dollars. We wouldn't have to raise the rates as much. We gotta have a plan to fix it, find the leaks and fix them, and find where the water's going before we go borrow any more money. Thank you.
Thank you. Any emails or voicemails? Seeing no more citizens, we will now move to our work session agenda, RFP review, employee benefits, Ms. Tammy Nunn, Director of Human Resources, and Ms. Heidi Steinberg, Vice President, Employee Benefits, USI Insurance Services.
That was a mouthful, wasn't it? So good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I'm Tammy Nunn. For those of you that I have not met that are new on the board this year, I'm the Director of Human Resources, and I'm very pleased to introduce Heidi Steinberg, who's going to give a presentation on our recent RFP process. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So we were just going to talk about quickly just medical claims performance as a whole, just so you can get an understanding of why there is an increase proposed. We'll go over the current plans, how we approach the RFP process, and then what the committee is recommending to the board. This is just a historical claims overview for the past 2 years. It's a snapshot that you can see from 25 to 26. This is reflective of a rolling 12 months of data, and the rolling 12 months is February of 25 through January of 26. So you see we did experience an increase last year of, I think it was about 12.5%, so some of that increase is included in the premium. The gross claims have actually decreased, so that is a positive that we're seeing, and so the gross loss ratio has decreased from running at a complete loss at 15% over premium to just at 97% of premium. Now, that doesn't take into account any large claims that are embedded in the plan. Large claims are claims that are 120,000 and claims that are over. Once those are forgiven, so to speak, they go to the stop loss, you're about at an 87% net loss ratio, which is still within target to be able to expect like a trend or medical inflationary increase. So, your gross claims on a per employee per year basis have decreased, which again is another positive trend. So your claims have decreased, your enrollments increased, so on a per employee per year, we're seeing that trend in the right direction. While you did have more large claimants in this time period that we're looking at, the claimants weren't as expensive. So you had 5 claims that exceeded the pooling level by about $563,000 In the prior period, you had 1.4 million in claims that exceeded the pooling point. This just gives your month-by-month total enrollment, premium, and we break out the claims by medical and pharmacy to show you your loss ratio on a monthly basis. And you can see throughout, the time period that we're looking at, there are several months where claims did exceed the premiums that were collected.
I got a
Yes.
question. So when a person makes a claim, let's say they go to the hospital and they use the hospital services and there's a bill for the service. If you don't have insurance, it's this much. But if you have insurance, the discount. So which number do you use when you report claims? Is it the discounted rate given to the insurance company?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? So just an overview of the current plans that are in place today. For the medical plans, you have two options. One is what I call a traditional plan that has first dollar coverage, co-pays, so when folks go to the doctor, they know what their cost is gonna be up front. Then you also have a qualified high deductible health plan that can be paired in conjunction with a health savings account. These are fully insured arrangements. And then you also, for dental, you have two dental plan options. You have a low plan option, and then the high plan option offers major services and orthodontia, and that is also a fully insured arrangement. Your vision plan design is one plan through IMED right now that's this is a buy-up plan that offers an exam, but also coverage for hardware. You also have a voluntary, an ability to purchase additional short-term disability coverage. Hybrids is in the first year of employment, and then you can also purchase voluntary long-term disability as well. You can purchase them separately or together. And so these are the plans that we took out to bid. So we were retained by the county to manage this bid process, and we released a request for proposal in January. And so all the respondents submitted proposals. We looked over all of the information. All the key indicators that we were looking at are listed here, price, network disruption, of course, if there's any type of wellness or disease management embedded, especially within the medical, because that's a key initiative here with the county that we've had some good success with, and just any type of guarantees that they're willing to provide. The selection committee was comprised of Tammy Nunn and Heather Kelly with oversight by Christine Joyce. And so, we've had numerous meetings that we initially put everything together and present it to the committee, and then we're able to narrow down to best and final, and who we want to select for finalists to come and present. So we held finalist meetings on March 30th, and the presenters were Centera, Cigna, and Anthem for the medical pharmacy EAP. And then on April 1st, we had the ancillary vendors. So for the dental vendors as well as the disability. And so then we were able to take in all the information for the best and final, all of our notes from the finalist meetings, and then we prepared a report to come back to the committee to give our findings. And then they were scored, and the committee recommendations as a result of this was Cigna for the medical insurance, and some of the key, and we have some more granular information, but it was an overall 6% increase. They're also proposing something that's quite unique that I haven't seen in my 24 years of doing business, where they are proposing a 3-year solution that gives us a rate cap in year 2 and 3. So no matter how claims run, you will only see a 10.5%, or I say only, but we know we're capped at 10.5% for next year and the following year. And then we also had some conversations with Cigna about just being able to provide some projections in January for the budget season and being able to get renewals a little bit sooner to help with that process, and they have committed to do that. One of the other things with Cigna is they have a very unique plan design on the high deductible plan that allows all the individuals to still keep a lower deductible. When some of the other offers, everyone that's in the individual plan on the high deductible would have to go to a $3,400 deductible. So that was something unique. Cigna's also proposing an $80,000 annual wellness fund, and this is used to fund certain initiatives to promote employee health and well-being. In the first month, they're going to offer a $130,000 premium credit that the county will be able to take as just offsets to administer the plan. And, you know, again, they just improved, they improved benefits, and they're offering lower costs on the supplemental health products as part of their package. And when I say supplemental health, that's your accident, critical illness, and hospital indemnity coverage. So that's the package with Cigna. And then the recommendation for dental and vision was going to be remaining with Delta Dental for the dental coverage, and that's no change to cost. And then Delta Vision partners with VSP, which has received some very positive feedback, and there's some savings on that as well with a 3-year rate guarantee. Also on the VSP plan, there is an Amplifon hearing discount that's embedded in that. And Delta Dental has some unique plan design offerings within their dental plan that, you know, they're the forefront in dental, and so they've been a good partner. And then with the voluntary disability, the recommendation is Chubb, because they have some improved contract terms, and they also have true open enrollment. And what that means is if somebody decides that this year doesn't work for them, but maybe next year they would like to be able to enroll in the disability coverage, they have an opportunity to do so without having to submit medical questions. So that's a big deal. We don't have that right now, so that's a nice thing. And we feel like operationally, this will be a partner that will improve process for the county as it relates to billing and claims. And they match the current rates and guaranteed for 3 years. So I've said a mouthful. Any questions on any of that?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Bonneville.
As far as Cigna, is it apples to apples is what we have now? Is there anything that's not covered, that was covered? Any changes across the board?
There's no changes because that is the current vendor. I neglected to say that.
Okay.
So the committee is recommending that
Sticking
you
with
stay with Cigna. Yes. Thank you for that clarifying question.
I have a couple questions, and
Sure.
I don't know whether you're the correct person to ask them of or not, but I'll ask some ignorant questions if that's acceptable. Do I get correctly that the total number of enrollees is estimated to be 281?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Or 278, sorry, or 285 actually, at 2026.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll spot you 285. I think we've heard, I won't say testimony, but I think we've heard an opinion that the reason we don't combine the county employees and the school employees is that the school employees' health insurance would go up. I think that's what I've been told. I remain a little bit befuddled because if you included the school employees with the county employees, wouldn't we in fact have a larger pool to cover and have a different, potentially a different loss ratio with a different group, and we'd just be looking at a different
Picture.
picture. I remain befuddled by this dichotomy of two different health systems insuring the same people who work for the same local government, but anyway. When you looked for the RFP and looked at the initial vendors, was there any consideration of looking at the local government health insurance provided through the Commonwealth of Virginia?
They did not bid on it.
Well, they wouldn't bid.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
Well, the local choice, yes, I know, and no.
Okay.
So-
Okay. So I have health insurance. This is not a question for me, but maybe it's a question for Ms. Nunn or council, but are the board members eligible to be insured under the county's health insurance?
No, sir. No, sir, not currently.
Is there a reason?
Well, we've had,
It doesn't affect me.
I think we've touched on this a bit separately in some communications, but the way we view board members, and you're certainly important and valuable to us, you're, in my opinion, and how we've handled it, and other board members can certainly chime in, is you're in a different category. You're the Board of Supervisors advising us. Now, of course, there are some benefits that board members have. We certainly have, you know, some payment to you all. And there are some perks, I imagine, you know, with that, with the duties that you have. But it's initially, it's really a separate category, Board of Supervisors versus staff.
So in my
And by perks, I mean, you know, you've got a phone, a laptop, the things that you need to do business.
20 years ago, when I was on the board in a different locality, we were offered health insurance through the county. They felt that we received a W-2, and therefore we were employees. If we were traveling and we were injured, we were covered by workman's comp as long as we were traveling on the purpose of the county. It doesn't affect me,
Right.
but as we look to the future sometimes, health insurance becomes a barrier, and it would strike me that having that offering to a potential candidate who wanted to run for the Board of Supervisors would lower some of that barrier potentially to those individuals who might want to offer themselves to public service. That's just my opinion.
Understood, point taken.
It's probably not germane to the moment, but thank you for letting me explore that. At any point, has there ever been a conversation about transitioning to a self-insured model?
There has been, and we are very open to looking at, you know, combining, I say we as in USI, we're very open to look at combining the two entities under a self-insured model, because right now the school system is self-insured through Anthem. You know, obviously the county's fully insured through Cigna.
Right, and by that, for the people in the room, the school system funds their own health insurance, and Anthem serves as a third-party administrator. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing that they really purchase would be stop loss through Anthem.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
And it just to add one other piece of, because conceptually that makes a lot of sense, right? But until we really look at the data all together and have buy-in, you know, I can't really say definitively that would be the best solution for the county, but it makes a lot of sense, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Please continue.
Okay. And so this right here is just shows you what the rates are currently and what the rates would be going up to at renewal. So it's reflective of the 6%. And this is the all-in cost. We do have later on if we were to keep the percentages the same, but just apply it to the increased 6% premiums, what that would look like to the employees. But as you can see, there's no material changes here. It's remaining with Cigna. For Delta Dental, this is current and renewal. There's no changes to the rates or the plans here as well. And then Delta Vision. So currently right now you're with IMED. And the committee is recommending to go to Delta Dental, which is through VSP, which there are some enhancements, you know, to the benefits that are highlighted here, and there's also a decrease in rates. These are a lot of numbers here, but probably the best thing to do is to draw your attention to the last column on each of the different boxes, because you can see if we were to assume that Gloucester maintains the same percentage contribution, what the change could look like for an employee. So the top where you see OAP, that is the traditional plan, the richer plan that has the copay structure. So you're looking at, you know, for an employee only, the proposed monthly change would be $9.73. And if you go all the way down to employee family, it goes up to $44.63. The HSA is covered at 100%, so no change there, and you see the changes that are listed for the different tiers. Of course, on dental, there's no change proposed that you can see in that last column. And then for vision, in the last column, you see the employee change is a negative number. Any questions there, concerns? And then this is just show you what the short and long-term disability benefits look like. These are voluntary benefits, and they're age-banded rates, and they're matching current, and they just have, you know, some additional enhanced contract terms and operational things.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Not that we're better than you are by any stretch of the imagination. We use AFLAC for our voluntary. It's a very popular program. Our employees really find it very useful. I wondered if that was compared against Chubb.
AFLAC did not submit a proposal.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And then here we have just the accident programs that this committee is proposing to bundle with Cigna Medical. And so you see here, currently it's with the standard. Everything in green on this slide is indicated as an enhancement, and the rates are also decreasing with Cigna. Then on the critical illness, you see here just the rates are a little bit lower here. So there's some enhancements. So again, we're just taking advantage of, you know, multi-line discounts with the medical, because by placing these 3 lines of coverage with Cigna, we were able to bring, you know, a half a percentage point off of the medical and enhance the benefits. And then lastly, you see the hospital indemnity. Again, these are voluntary benefits, much like, you know, AFLAC type plans that pay you a cash benefit if you had a claim. These costs are going down as well. And that really brings my part to a close. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Dr. Leming.
And this may be to Ms. Nunn or to you, and I'll spot it to either one of you. And I'm just going to express my ignorance. I haven't been on this board terribly long, and so I would be one of the newbies. In our business, we have a uniform accidental death benefit life insurance policy. It's $50,000 if they die naturally. It's doubled if they die in an accident. Does the county have a life insurance product that they use to cover all our employees with?
Yes.
Is it similar to that?
Yes.
50 and 100?
One-time payment. All right, I'm looking to my senior benefit analyst, Heather Kelly, who's in the audience. How much is it? With BRS, it's 2 times your salary.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was one of my questions.
And then doubled if it's an accident.
Thank you.
And I too have been here about 2.5 years, and sometimes I revert back to my Riverside benefits rather than the
understand.
local benefits.
So I'm back to the, I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to preface it by saying I'm going to go back to the concept that I'm still a little bit befuddled by the 2 different creatures. This is not the place and the time to answer this question, and I know that. But would it take a study of the 2 pools, a hypothetical study of the 2 pools, and look what a pro forma would look like if you included all of those participants in order to do a comparison in the future? And my question would be, what would that study cost, roughly?
So we're engaged with the county, and that is part of our actuarial services.
Okay.
So.
And what would it take for the board to ask you to do such a study in collaboration with the schools, pools, the county pools, and see what that creature would look like. I mean, if it looks bad, we don't want to do that.
Right,
But if it would be a better long-term use of our taxpayer dollars, then I would be interested in looking at that next year.
Right.
You know. On the Cigna plan, I think I heard you say that we are offered a 3-year lock,
Correct.
10-point-some-odd% capped in years 2 and years 3.
Correct.
Are we obligated for the full 3 years?
I don't think under the contract, I think you can get out at any time.
In other words, let's just have the hypothetical that we engage you to do such a study. You come back to the school board and the county and say, this makes or doesn't make good sense, but if it did make good sense, I don't want to have a penalty clause in the Cigna contract, and we'll go, well, we did this for naught.
Right.
Okay.
Typically, under a fully insured arrangement, you don't pay the premium. They're going to cancel you for non-payment, you know. It would be more complicated if you were in a self-insured arrangement and were wanting to roll into their self-insured arrangement.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah, so
I understand that very clearly.
Yeah, so
okay.
I think, and to answer your question about what the board would need to provide us, we have all the information, we would need to do that.
Okay.
So we can add it to our strategic initiative, to, you know, look to provide a projection of what it could look like to pull the two entities together. One thing to consider is just differing renewal dates and deductibles and things like that, but those are all things that we would address.
I had the
Yeah.
differing renewal dates in mind when I had this conversation, because one of the problems is that the school board's renewal is after their budget is decided.
Right.
And when they get a surprise renewal fee, then they have to bring it back to this board, and we have to make an additional appropriation that was not considered during the budget, one way or the other. So I understand all that, but
Okay,
thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions before we move on? All right, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
So next we'll have consideration of ordinance to renew Regional Groundwater Mitigation Program Memorandum of Agreement. Mr. Baines.
Thank you, sir. This is a renewal of the regional plan. This came about from the HRPDC. It was established back in 1994. Provides administrative framework for signatory parties can use to obtain technical analysis of mitigations to groundwater withdrawal. So we're part of a larger group, so when they do things like go to approve somebody else to draw groundwater, we're part of that group. It's been renewed 5 times. Normally it's in 5-year increments. This one expired December of last year. So we're here to get you to renew it again. The only real difference with this one, and Mr. Wilmot could make some comments if he wants because he has to look at all these things, is this one doesn't have an expiration date like the past have. So this one will go on until we want to rescind our participation in it.
Any questions, comments? Mr. Wilmot, anything to add?
Yes, sir. Okay. Move the ordinance.
Is there a second? Second. We have a motion of a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Baines, would you pull the board?
Dr. Leming? Yes. Mr. Hutson?
Yes.
Mr. Chriscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Nicosia?
Yes.
Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
Mr. Bonniville?
Yes.
Dr. Orth?
Yes.
All right. Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move to discussion and decision on state-approved employee bonus. Ms. Maria Calloway, Deputy County Administrator and Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening. As discussed during the budget work session on April 16th, the state has included in its budget a one-time bonus for state-funded local employees. I'll turn a little bit. It feels a little weird. Sorry, we were a little angled there. So based on the feedback I received from the board, the staff has prepared a resolution which appears on page 34 of your board packet for this one-time bonus. If the board wishes to fund this 2% bonus to all staff, the estimated total cost is $531,608 with an estimated state reimbursement of $163,097 for a net local cost of $368,511. As I've stated before, the county has recognized quite a bit of vacancy savings this fiscal year. And that's the difference between what we budget for personnel costs and what we are actually expending. The amount of vacancy savings is sufficient to fund the local portion of this bonus. There is, as I mentioned, there is a resolution on page 34 for your approval, and the boxes will be filled out accordingly based on what the board wishes to do this evening. Secondly, we received information on a state bonus for school employees as well. Again, a one-time bonus. The school board passed a resolution last Tuesday night requesting that the county fund $363,307 for a bonus for school employees. This would be a $1,000 bonus to all employees who are full-time, and then a prorated $500 bonus to all part-time employees. The total cost of this would be $866,583, with an estimated state reimbursement of $503,276, for a net local cost of $363,307. So, as I mentioned, for the county bonus, there is quite a bit of vacancy savings. You'll notice the resolution on page 34 is not an appropriation resolution because we're proposing to use within the budgeted funds we have. The schools are a little bit different. So they have requested that we do an appropriation to approve this bonus, which has been handed out at your seats. I prepared that resolution for you. The local portion, I believe, can also be funded from the county's vacancy savings, with some cautious caveats there. That is fairly aggressive for us. I am expecting, as I mentioned before, over $1 million in vacancy savings, and I do project that out. And if the board proceeds this evening, which I think is fine in a financial sense, I do believe that April and May and June, the fourth quarter of the year, need to be monitored very closely expenditure-wise. I don't anticipate that we'll be hiring a whole bunch of people in the third quarter all of a sudden to make up all of this vacancy savings, and I have projected out some costs that we are anticipating incurring in this fourth quarter, but something to monitor. A lot of this vacancy savings historically is what has generated some remaining fund balance at the end of a fiscal year. So what you may find is by using this amount of your vacancy savings, you're going to see a smaller fund balance excess at the end of this fiscal year, which then generally goes to fund the fiscal year 28. It'll go to fund the next capital plan for those cash projects. This year, 2027, that we're working on for the budget, the capital plan is fully funded with, the cash capital plan is fully funded with only leftover fund balance. So all of the projects that we're paying with cash is leftover fund balance. There's no operating funding going into our capital plan. So I wanted to just provide that information that you may be used to seeing $2-3 million at the end of a fiscal year. Some of that, you may see a lower number next year, and I just wanted to preface the board on that. As I mentioned, there's the resolution that is for your consideration on page 34, which references the county bonus, and then a resolution at your seats. And the members of the schools are here for questions if you have any questions specific to that bonus.
Questions, comments? Mr. Nicosia?
If the board proceeds to fund the school division's bonuses, I choose to abstain. This is a direct impact to my pocket. And so for that purpose, I will not vote because I choose to abstain only on the school portion.
Mr. Hutson?
I'll abstain too on that because of my wife, but I wish there was more done for the cafeteria and the bus drivers.
Ms. Hanson?
Mr. Hutson, you preference that it's not for the bus drivers or cafeteria people?
No, I'm saying it should be more.
Should be more, okay. Because I was the understanding there was everybody, because Joe had asked about the custodians, because I have a friend who's a bus driver. I told her the wrong thing. So, thank you.
I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution for the county courts.
Sorry.
What am I? Is that what she said? What?
Yeah,
No,
no,
she's-
it's gonna adopt.
With the amounts that I provided.
So that's the one on page 34. And can we have those numbers again, Ms. Callaway?
Yes, so, the total cost will be 531,608, and then there will be a, vacancy savings will be a negative 368,511, and then the state reimbursement will be the 163,097. So you'll actually see an extra row in that little box when we send you the finalized resolution.
So, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Please.
On page 34, the amount for revenue and expenses are each 531,608.
No.
What are they?
The totals are gonna be 368,511.
68
Oh, I'm sorry, 163,097.
for revenue and expenses each?
Okay, let me,
'Cause
so.
we have to fill in the boxes.
Yes, and I will fill them in for you now. So the first box, personnel expenses, 2026 bonus is gonna be in the expense side, 531,608. Then the next box down is gonna be a negative 368,511 because vacancy savings is not budgeted as a positive expense, it's a contra expense. State revenue is gonna be in the revenue side, so that we're gonna add a row for that, and it's gonna be a 163,097.
What she said.
Any further discussion? Mr. Baines, would you pull the board?
Yes.
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 Orth? Dr. Leming?
Yes.
Passes.
Okay.
Then there's one more.
Correct.
The schools.
I'll move the resolution for the schools.
Based on the sheet at our spot, so it's not from our vacancy savings then?
The resolution at the page has a one-time bonus of 866,583, state revenue 503,276, transfers in general fund 363,307, transfers out school operating fund 363,307, vacancy savings a negative 363,307, totaling on each column 866,583. Is that correct, Ms. Callaway?
Yes, sir, thank you.
ma'am.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Nicosia?
Ms. Callaway or a member of the school system, can you, for those who don't understand how that works, can you explain the difference between what your full-time staff or teachers or whatever class you want to use and your cafeteria workers and your bus drivers and the difference there? Because it's not that they're not going to get it, but there is a difference, and I don't think the new board members quite understand that.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I understand Mr. Nicosia recused himself on this one, so I would urge, in light of his motivations for recusing himself, that he not have any input in it,
I'll sponsor the question.
even asking questions.
Thank you.
I'll sponsor the question.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Well, good evening, Mr. Chriscoe, Ms. Nicosia, members of the board, Mr. Baines. Certainly, I appreciate the question because it is confusing sometimes. Often folks are talking about this apply to all employees. So yes, it does. It would be for all full-time employees, bus drivers, custodians, instructional assistants, paraeducators, you name it. We have more than 36 employee groups. If you're full-time, you'll be at $1,000. If you're part-time, then it would be $500. I also want to state that when the state does this, they do it for SOQ positions. You're all aware that the JLARC study, a bipartisan study. You know, the SOQs are wholly inadequate. You cannot run a school district. So again, this is for all employees, and we never differentiate between SOQ and non-standards of quality positions, and I hope that answers your questions tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I believe we have a motion. We have a second. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Baines, would you poll the board?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chriscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Nicosia? Abstain. Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
Mr. Bonniville?
Yes.
Dr. Orth?
Yes.
Dr. Leming?
Yes.
Mr. Hutson? All right. It passes 5.
Okay. Thank you very much. Moving along, we have a request to hold a public hearing revising utility rates for fiscal year 2027. Ms. Callaway.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna find my notes here. While the presentation comes up, I just have a handful of slides. I will note that our utilities director is out on training, so you get the B team tonight, but I'll do my best. And I have been receiving a nice little flow of information as so if there are any questions, I'll certainly do my best to answer those for you.
Give me just 1 second, the PowerPoint is corrupted. Let me just pull the PDF up.
Okay, thank you. Shoot the messenger. The rates are within the PowerPoint. Okay, this evening I'm here to request a public hearing on utilities rates. So the first slide is just showing you the 5-year proposed rate increases. So this is just a reminder of those 5 years, which are based on the capital plan from fiscal year 2026. The rates were increased in May of 2026, the first time in over 10 years. You can see there that the fiscal year 27 is what we're considering in this proposal to request a public hearing would be a 13% increase in rates per tier. And then for informational purposes, you can see the fiscal year 28, 29, and 30 estimated increases. At this point, they're likely too low. There are probably going to be some changes, as Ms. Legg has presented in the past, as that capital plan changes, as other increases happen. Those estimates were built last year. So this is what the rates would be for a water-only customer, and this is showing the 13% increase. And I'll note there were a couple of very tiny mathematical things in those yellow cells, so we did make it, that's why they're highlighted there. So you can see that those differences range from $3 per month to about $12 per month based on the consumption, and a majority of our customers use 5,000 gallons or less. And then this is the proposed rates for a water and sewer customer. So you can see the bottom chart on the far right column. Those rates will increase an estimated between $5 per month up to about $17 per month. And again, about 80% of our water and sewer customers use 5,000 gallons or less. There has been some discussion on the application and development fees. These fees have, so Ms. Legg has provided here a 13% increase, what that would look like on these fees, as well as a 25% increase. I will mention that these are not included in the fiscal year 2027 budget. However, the potential revenue impact that you can see there at the bottom is not significant. I'll also mention that, and every dollar, I will clarify, every dollar can be used. The development fee is designated for development only, so that would not increase or improve the revenue for operations. But wanted to show you what this would look like in the event that you wished to increase the water application and development fees. We've also provided the 25%. I think that was a number that was thrown out at some point. What would it look like if we went up those different levels? And so those are provided here for informational purposes. And then this is the increase for sewer application and development fees if the board were to choose to go that route. So the next steps are, again, I'm here this evening to request permission to advertise a public hearing. That public hearing would be held on June 2nd, and the rates are proposed to be effective July 1st. And there is a resolution on page 36 of your board packet.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Dr. Leming.
Ms. Calway, on, I don't know what page it's on page 2 of your slide deck, Could we get a revision on this page and maybe we'll put a little parentheses beside it, predicted, estimated on these bottom 3? And that, I don't want people to think that we're having a public hearing and we're gonna work on all these fees. The 14% is historical. I mean, it is what it is.
Correct. We implemented a 14%.
No, I know. So the only thing that's really on the table, looking at this slide, is that second line, and third, fourth, and fifth line are really estimated projections.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hutson.
When did the 14% increase go into effect?
May 1st of 2026. Yes, I have it written down. Sorry, I was going off memory.
This is 26 now, so it's 25.
I'm sorry, 2025. I did write 2026. Thank you. Good call. Apologies.
Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Dr. Leming.
So on this page, that I'm just asking a question. If we advertise that it's a 13% increase per tier, it could be decided to be lower. It just can't be higher.
Yes, that's my understanding. Mr. Wilmot, are you able to confirm?
Yes, sir, yes. It'd be better to be concrete and inform exactly what the increase is. But yes, as long as you don't go over the 13, it's fine. So what we should do, please remind me, is that we advertise up to 13%.
Correct.
I look forward to receiving a draft ordinance.
Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'm still confused about whether or not the request for a public hearing and increased rates includes or does not include the application and development fees.
The request for the public hearing is broad, and I am here for direction on that, and we can incorporate those into the proposed ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, as I understand it, there was a substantial increase in these fees, like doubling, right?
Fairly significant, yes. Doubling, I don't remember, but it was a significant.
It was a
increase.
significant bump up. And I don't know that
Right, and for the minimal revenue increase, if we were to go up again.
That's exactly what I was. I'm trying to hone in on what the resolution would look like too.
Well, then you probably are looking at wanting to do a resolution for simply the 13% increase per tier for water and sewer rates and be done.
For advertise for public hearing.
Correct.
I'm trying to figure out what we're.
And we can,
include in the hearing.
and we can have that, we can have it advertised and we don't have to take any action on it. I mean, because you may want to go, well, let's go to $7,500, and it's a number that's not shown on page 5, but we don't have to. But leaving it as is, we have the ability to have that discussion if we so choose. If we take it out, then we're only going to be dealing with the rate per tier increase.
Correct.
So having said that, Mr. Chairman, would we then advertise a 25% increase in sewer application and development fees and water application and development fees? You have to advertise the max.
Are you asking,
13% would
I didn't
be-
know if Mr. Chriscoe wanted,
For me, I would prefer, well, me personally, I'm going to stick with unlucky 13 and cap. I think we should cap everything at a 13%.
I'm fine with that. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move a resolution that the board approve the public hearing to include a 13% increase in the tiers and 13% increase in the application and development fees.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion or comments? Mr. Baines, would you poll the board?
Mr. Nicosia?
Yes.
Ms. Hanson?
Yes.
Mr. Bonniville?
Yes.
Dr. Orth?
Yes.
Dr. Leming?
Yes.
Mr. Hutson?
Yes.
Mr. Chriscoe?
Yes.
thank you.
So, looking at the agenda when we built this meeting, I added possible budget discussion. I will now leave it up to the board if they would like to now shift gears and commence budget discussion. I know we already have a meeting scheduled for this Thursday, at which time we have one scheduled for a potential budget work session scheduled for Monday, the 27th, and with possible adoption on Thursday, April the 30th. Is it of the mind of this board to go into budget discussion, or do you want to reconvene on Thursday and start fresh at a new meeting?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Really have a simple question for Ms. Callaway, if that would be
Yes,
acceptable. Forgive me, I forget the exact numbers, but I remember when we started the budgeting process, there was an estimated increase that we were bracing for in the health insurance world of a substantial number. And as I recall, you had revised that number downward based on a hope and a prayer, and some credible sources. And I think your last revision was you were anticipating a 15% increase. That's my memory. I might be wrong about that. Now it looks like that number may be lower again. Is that correct?
The number is lower again. However, what I did in the last budget work session is revised it to what I understood from our insurance consultants. So I revised it from 1.3 million to 405,000. So that revision, I don't believe there are any further cuts to be made there.
That's what I want to know. Thank you, Ms. Callaway.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know how the board would feel, and I'm fine with that being, we're already going to be here Thursday, because I don't think we'd finish it tonight. There's a chance we could finish Thursday. We will see. Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Orth.
Ms. Callaway, for Thursday, could you provide us an update on where we were last year and where we are now with the veterans disabled reduction last year? I think we raised our taxes 3 cents to offset the $1.5 million that were given as reductions for the veterans disabled, correct? So can we see where we are this year in that number?
Yes, sir. I'll request that information from the commissioner and provide you
Okay,
any updates.
thank you.
Okay. Any other questions before we get into supervisor discussion, if there is any? So, is there anything else for supervisor discussion? All right, seeing none, there's no closed meeting. With that, I'll entertain,
Mr. Chairman? My practice administrator reminded me that tomorrow is Administrative Professionals Day, and I wanted to recognize at least the board's administrative assistant professionals, one of whom is sitting here tonight with us, and that's Trish Cronin. The board is very appreciative of all you do for all of us. And then I would also like to recognize Whitney Tyler, who is not present, but she is serving as Trish's understudy, backup, and right hand, and I just think we all ought to recognize them. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Baines.
if y'all would just think with Thursday night, if you want any of the department heads or constitutional officers, please let Ms. Callaway or I know so we can make sure they're here for any questions y'all have. All right? Thank you.
Seeing no other supervisor discussion? Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye, we are adjourned.